Constance Victoria Briggs explores our cosmic connections with her talk, Earth's Galactic History and its Extraterrestrial Connection. In this presentation, she examines current research, theories, and evidence linking Earth and extraterrestrials past and present. Some of the topics that Constance covers include whether the Earth was terraformed by advanced extraterrestrials, the theory that the Earth was seeded with life by other worldly beings, possible extraterrestrial involvement in the creation of humans, and more. She looks at evidence of humans being visited by beings from other worlds and explores the idea that there was once a battle for Earth. She brings us signs, signals, messages, and clues showing evidence that extraterrestrials are trying to communicate with humanity. And she takes us on a journey beneath the oceans where she is believed to be, where she believes there is an extraterrestrial presence. She also investigates the possibility that other worldly beings may be residing within the Earth. She delves into how extraterrestrials may be traveling to Earth via stargates, portals, wormholes, using what she refers to as the cosmic freeway. Constance also examines the possibility that there are extraterrestrials living among us. Extraordinary events believed to be related to extraterrestrials are also revealed in her work. She takes a look at current research into the UFO, UAP, USO phenomenon, detailing descriptions of these enigmatic subjects. She talks about the possibility of there being authoritative hierarchies within our galaxy that may include other worldly federations and councils that are responsible for the galactic community. In the end, she ponders humanity's future and whether it will be an apocalyptic one with humanity struggling to survive, or a spacefaring global society where we are the ones exploring and possibly colonizing new worlds. Her website is constancevictoriabriggs.com. Please join me in welcoming Constance Victoria Briggs. Welcome, Constance.
Hi. How are you, Victor?
It's wonderful, so wonderful to see you again. Constance has been a guest on my Om Times podcast a couple of times, and everything she brings to us is fascinating and eye-opening. So there you go, Constance. It's all yours.
Thank you, Victor. Hi, everybody. Well, that was quite an introduction. I'm going to try to touch on all of those points today in the relatively short time that I have. That's a lot of information. I had prepared this presentation. I apologize for not having slides today. I hope it's not too boring for you if I just talk a little bit, okay? But I'm just going to try to go as fast as I can and just kind of fill you with information. First of all, excuse me, when I was invited to be a part of this conference, Awakening of Humanity, I had to figure out what part, was the best to share. I've been asked a lot of questions about what is going on with Earth and extraterrestrials and UFOs by people, pardon me, people who are not in the know. In this audience, there are a lot of people, as we can see from the material that has been presented, who are in the know about extraterrestrials. They're involved, they're communicating, they've been in contact, and some of us are extraterrestrials embodied. But there is another group out there, most of the world, in fact, who are not aware. And I believe that if we're going to have the contact that we're looking for on a mass scale, if we're going to have disclosure the way we want, for us all to understand and hear the information of what has been kept from us in regard to extraterrestrials, then we have to slowly educate people, the ones that are not in the know, that we are being visited, that we have been since ancient times, and that some of us are embodiments of ETs. The fact that everyone on Earth is an ET is another show, but I do believe that, the soul does come from elsewhere, but that's another topic. So anyway, that's my intention when it comes to awakening humanity. I don't think we can really get there until more people know. And at that point, when most of the world, and hopefully all of the world and every part of the world understands that we're not alone in the universe, then maybe the ETs can have that kind of mass presentation that we're all hoping for. So I'm going to jump into this information, and hopefully it's not too boring and you can follow. Anyway, so I wrote this with that in mind, the new people out there, as well as you guys who know a little bit more. So bear with me. We have entered a time when information about Earth's galactic history and its connection to extraterrestrials is coming out very fast. As you've seen from the program, there's lots of information. The evidence suggests, as we know, that we are not alone, and we never have been. So that's a very important point, because there are some people who believe that this kind of started all, in the 1940s, 50s era. It's not true. We've been visited forever. In fact, whether there is other intelligent life in the universe is no longer a question. There is proof that shows that we have been visited by extraterrestrials from the beginning of human history, and that Earth is being visited today. The question is whether humanity will accept this reality. That's a big one. Because if you do talk to someone who's not aware, some of them brush it off, and some of them don't like the idea. They are not accepting of the reality, and it's a problem. But I believe that what we're going through when it comes to people who are denying the existence of UFOs and ETs, I think that we're going through what I call growing pains. I think that every galactic civilization that has started and that has entered the galactic community has gone through growing pains of denial and acceptance. Unfortunately for us, this is where we are right now with so many. Or not only denial, but just people who are in the know, who are keeping the information from us. Anyway, if we are to enter a time when we will evolve to be greater than we are now, then we need to examine Earth's galactic history and its extraterrestrial connection. Only then will we be able to move forward into a time when we can join the galactic community. Therefore, it behooves us to examine as much information from our past on the subject as possible, as well as explore the theories and possibilities of how we are connected to the stars. I would like to emphasize theories, because there's a lot of information we have, those of us in contact. But there's a lot of information that is that's missing too. There are broken pieces to our history from the beginning. So sometimes we only have the theories, but the theories I have found are also ones that the space agency have, and I'll try to find the time to get into that. So as a world society, I think we should be having discussions on what evidence we have, but also the theories that are coming out, because sometimes we're just being guided and the theories are being given to us for publication, and we can talk about all of this. We need to explore the many aspects of humankind's interactions with extraterrestrials, starting with our ancient past to the present. Once the world understands that we are not alone in the universe, then perhaps we will be ready for that spacefaring Star Trek future that so many have been anticipating. I talk about Star Trek a lot, guys. In my writings, I talk a lot about science fiction, because I find that for awakening people and those that are not in the know, like we are, some of us are, they can relate. They can relate to Star Trek and science fiction. So I do bring that up a lot. And while I have Star Trek here, I just have to interject something really quick. Gene Roddenberry, there's a story about the creator of Star Trek having sat in on channeling sessions from a woman who said that she was channeling extraterrestrials. The extraterrestrials told her that they were on a ship. There were several ships, in fact, and they were on a mission of peace. They were traveling the galaxy, and their ship was full of people from different worlds working together in harmony. The idea is that Gene Roddenberry was inspired, if not directed, he never said directed, but was inspired to create Star Trek. And even a lot of his scripts were, I heard, have been based upon that information. So that's a side note, just to let you know that extraterrestrials not just may, they are using our sci-fi for educating the masses. Anyway. So, terraforming. Here is one of the interesting theories. It is kind of long, bear with me. So, what is our extraterrestrial connection, and how far back in history does it go? Well, not only did I go back in history for the UFOs, I went all the way back to the beginning with the theory of terraforming in my Earth book, my Galactic Earth book. So, when it comes to how life came to be on Earth, several hypotheses have been put forward in recent years. One such theory is that of the Earth having been terraformed by extraterrestrials that were highly advanced in the areas of science and technology. If true, then these beings could be eons of years old and have reached creator status, meaning that they have the capability to create, maintain, and sustain life on other worlds. Terraforming is a hypothetical method of transforming an environment that is unsuitable for humans to dwell on into one that has been created to be equipped for human habitation. It is hypothetical, of course, because we do not yet have the technology to terraform planets. However, this theory is not as unbelievable as it may seem. Scientists today are currently researching the possible terraforming of other planets and the various ways that we might one day do so. Interestingly, the idea is not lost on them that this is what may have happened with Earth billions of years ago. Some researchers today are considering the idea that advanced beings may have been responsible for incorporating life on Earth. In fact, it is thought by some that there may have been several extraterrestrial worlds that had a hand in the preparation, design, and development of life on Earth. It is believed that extraterrestrials could have planned everything from a breathable atmosphere to the creatures that would reside here. It has also been considered that large depositories may have been used for such a task. These depositories have been likened to a futuristic Noah's Ark. This means that extraterrestrials may have sent the seeds of life across the universe to plant life on Earth and perhaps other areas of our solar system as well. So, there you have it. Extraterrestrials, in my thinking, may have been there from the very beginning all the way back to, terraforming the Earth. So I'm going to get a little bit into human origins, if you're still with me. One of the areas when it comes to our galactic history to be looked at is human origins. And this is a big one. It's kind of a big no-no when it comes to the masses because people don't always want to hear this. They want to stay set in their traditional way of thinking, especially when it comes to, religion and myth. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to change that something else may have occurred at the beginning of our human history. But I put it out there. Although this area of our history and extraterrestrial connection is wrought with theories, it is an area to be studied and examined if we are to understand our origins. Since the extraterrestrials have yet to have a sit-down conversation with us on this topic, we're on our own. And I tell you, some of the speculations are thought-provoking. The questions are, did we come from the stars? Is humanity an extraterrestrial creation? Well, many believe so. Interestingly, there have been scientists who have said that determining how life formed on Earth is a problem for them. Guys, this was news for me. I never knew that they were talking like this. They have said it is a problem because they don't know. They do not know definitively how life started. In an article from the Scientific American by John Horgan titled, "Psst, Don't Tell the Creationists, but Scientists Don't Have a Clue How Life Began," Horgan writes, Dennis Overby just wrote a status report for the New York Times on research into life's origin based on a conference on the topic at Arizona State University. Geologists, chemists, astronomers, and biologists are as stumped as ever by the riddle of life. That's what he said. So this kind of thinking has opened the doors for researchers to look at alternative answers to the question of human origins, including that of humanity being connected to extraterrestrials. In fact, some of the questions being brought forward today are, did humans come to Earth from a different world? Are we extraterrestrials that came from another world to live on Earth for reasons we do not remember or understand? There are theories about this. Unfortunately, I don't have time to cover them all, but I'm going to try to get into, at least 3 of them. All right. And they're a little complicated, but, I'm going to try to get through this. So theory number 1, colonization from another world hypothesis. The colonization from another world hypothesis is a theory that our ancestors originally came from somewhere else in the universe. I don't find that hard to believe, right? They may have come as explorers colonizing other planets. Maybe they had already, beat us to everything. Maybe Earth was a strange new world and they're like, whoa, okay, colonize. This looks pretty good. Anyway, they may have had a variety of people in specialized areas to start a colony, which would include scientists, engineers, and others to colonize the Earth, just as our scientists are planning to do with the moon and Mars, if they ever get to it. Anyway, some have speculated that there may have been more than one race of beings involved in the founding of this colony. And if this is true, then it appears that from other worlds and star systems that are far more advanced than humans, they've already achieved what we are just only beginning to think about and plan here on Earth. Life on Earth today just may be the result of colonizations from beings that were seeking to spread their race through the cosmos. So that is colonization from another world hypothesis 2. Number 1. I have the next one, which is colonization from another world hypothesis 2, which is very similar but slightly different. So in this one, we entertain a slightly different version of it, and it says, I wrote, we just may not be who we thought we were, which would be the original humans on Earth. There is a theory that we were fully developed Homo sapiens that were created on another world and transported here. According to this theory, humankind originated on a world that was better suited for us. And here's where it changes. But for some reason had to abandon it and traveled across the universe. What is most interesting about this summation is that it would make us the aliens. We just may be guests on Earth. Could humans have been added to the life that already existed on Earth? I was sitting in my garden one time and I was considering, in my garden, I have all of this greenery and trees and flowers and all of this. And in the back is a big canyon. And I just thought, and, there's a lot of animals. And I just thought, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. And could we have been placed here? It just felt like humanity and the houses and the cement and the cars just seemed out of place to me. So I wrote this. So in other words, was this a fully functioning planet before we arrived? It would appear so, as it does seem that humans do not belong here. Earth also seems to have suffered from the existence of humans living here. Humans seem completely foreign to Earth, in my opinion. If we can imagine a time before humans, we can visualize a lush world full of exotic plants and vegetation that grew as far and wide as the eyes can see. Imagine no roads, highways, or buildings, just a world rich in nature and the original animals that existed here. It seems obvious that the addition of humans changed all of that. The introduction of humans into Earth's environment has nearly destroyed it. So basically, this theory is about a group of humanoid people extraterrestrials that purposely left their home world for reasons unknown and felt compelled to come to live on Earth. Now, why? Why would they do that? Well, perhaps there was a threat on their world. Rather than allowing their species to be wiped out, they were searching for a planet similar to their own that they could escape to safely. The universe is volatile. Meteorites smash into planets, suns explode. There may even be wars and political uproars of other civilizations in space. We don't always think that that could be a thing, but it is. Other civilizations exist. We don't know what's going on in their worlds. The possibilities as to why a group of people would leave their home world are endless. I have to take a sip of water. Okay. So I did find another person that had similar thinking, but way more better than I do. And he wrote a book. So on the subject of how humanity doesn't fit on Earth. So Dr. Ellis Silver is a chief environmentalist and ecologist who wrote extensively about humans not being from Earth in his book titled Humans Are Not from Earth, a Scientific Evaluation of the Evidence. Silver maintains that we are from elsewhere in the universe. In his book, he gives various ways in which humans struggle on Earth. Silver points out that humans are the most advanced species on the planet, as we know, but even so, we struggle to physically exist here. Have you ever felt like that? Because I know I have. I'm kind of getting tired. It's hard. We don't fit in physically, whereas the animal world around us lives quite easily. Silver believes that humans did not develop along with other animals and living organisms on Earth. One of the problems that Silver points out is that humans are shockingly incompatible with and unequipped for life on Earth and the various environments located here. Losing my voice, guys. I'm sorry. Silver cites such issues as humans having difficulty with sunlight. We burn quite easily. How many animals do you know out there burning from the sun, right? He says there are high rates of disease and maladies, which of course we know. We're always sick. By the time we reach age, 50, we're going downhill quite rapidly. Even before that, of course, there's many diseases. We have problems during birth. The animals don't. We have severe back ailments. Sometimes we're just, bending over by the time we're a certain age and we feel the pain early, right? And there's a lot more in his book if you'd like to research it and look it up. So these issues, he maintains, are not problems often seen in the animal kingdom. Silver concludes that humans developed in a different world, then were later brought here sometime during the last 60,000 to 200,000 years. In both the colonization from another world hypothesis, the work of prominent researcher and author Lloyd Pye comes to mind. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but I was in contact with Lloyd Pye before he passed away. He was an amazing writer and researcher. Pye was recognized for his distinctive version of the intervention theory. It was a hypothesis that extraterrestrials had a role in the establishment of human life on Earth. In his book titled Everything You Know Is Wrong, he expounded upon his belief that life on Earth did not evolve but appeared here. He commented that after Earth-wide catastrophes, there was no evidence that anything had evolved, but the various forms of life on Earth appeared here fully developed and ready to procreate. He wrote, although there are modifications within species, Nothing transforms into anything higher. It all simply appears somehow as fully functioning sexual units of males and females, ready to live and procreate. In his book, he even quoted renowned biologist Richard Dawkins as stating, "It is as though they were just planted here without any evolutionary history." Pi also wrote, "After a typical sudden appearance, neither plants nor animals will show significant morphological change." He later states, "There is no way around it. We are talking about aliens. We humans have contemplated future colonization of the moon or even Mars," he says. "So how can it be ridiculous to think that other advanced life might have had the same idea?" Now, um, I'm I'm going to read this last theory because it's just so interesting, and then I'm going to try to move through the rest of the material rather quickly so I can hit all those topics. So, AI theory from our human origins from the beginning. We may be AIs. Um, were humans engineered by extraterrestrials? Are we artificially intelligent beings? There is a theory that humans were created by advanced extraterrestrial engineers that hold complex artificial intelligence technology and the capability of tissue cloning or some other science that is outside of the present human level of understanding. An even more amazing question is, could humans have been AIs that became self-aware and were later given free will? Kind of falls into that whole Anunnaki category, I think. Anyway, today, so far into the future, from the beginning of human history, we would not recognize that we could be a form of AI. If we are, then this might explain the possible extraterrestrial presence on Earth and all the UFOs in the skies. They may be observing our progress and keeping an eye on their AIs. Over time, it is possible that they have been giving special upgrades, such as extending our memories, lengthening our lives, introducing us to breakthroughs in medicine and science, and we didn't even know it. In the quest for determining our origins, the idea of humanity being a form of biological AI that became sentient and given the freedom to choose our own path is one of the most fascinating. So I'm going to move forward now to the extraterrestrials of the ancient past. I'm going to skip the introduction to that and just try to ad-lib a little bit here. So basically, we were visited, as I stated before, from the beginning of human history, and we have records that go back to our ancient history, where there have been writings and all of that, writings and cave drawings, and by word of mouth stories of extraterrestrial visitations. I will just get into that a little bit more. So, just who were these ancient visitors? What was their purpose in coming to Earth? Some researchers believe that these visitors came to Earth with the idea of helping humanity and were mistaken for gods due to their technology. Another possibility is that we were visited early on because they may have been the same beings that placed humans on Earth in the first place, and they later returned to assist us. In the end, it appears that humanity was eventually left to their own devices, as it seems that the extraterrestrials either left or faded into the background. They may have been watching humanity this entire time, and some of them still may be here. So basically, the reason I say that is because in ancient history, humans and extraterrestrials, according to some of the stories, were interacting. They were living together. I mean, there are tales of I guess we would call these hybrid children born from the gods and humans, and those stories are all over the world. But at some point, they seem to have kind of disappeared. We hear about them in stories, but we're not living with them and, saying, this guy is an ET today. I think they may have faded into the background a little to give us a chance to kind of form our own society and civilization, and learn for ourselves how to be on Earth, and that they've been watching us quietly, trying to let us mature. And of course, we've gone, in a bad direction, and that's a whole other story. But anyway, so I'm going to move on. So if the extraterrestrials were here and they left, I believe that we had that early knowledge of our relationship with extraterrestrials, but for some reason, we forgot it. All right. So, forgotten knowledge of our extraterrestrial past. Has humankind forgotten its galactic extraterrestrial past? It appears that for the most part, yes. During an interview on October 21st, 2021, on the Theories of Everything podcast, former U.S. Army counterintelligence special agent Luis Elizondo stated, most of our history we have no idea about. It's like spending an entire day and having amnesia, except for the last 5 minutes before you go to bed. Indeed, there is a lot of information that has either been lost or forgotten, I think. In fact, it appears that nearly the complete knowledge of UFOs and extraterrestrials from our past is lost to humanity. So, as a researcher, I am grateful for the information we do have, because I can sit down and I can churn through this stuff and kind of come up with theories and ideas. But, how did this come about? How did we forget or lose most of this knowledge in the first place? It's complicated. Some information has been kept from us due to religious doctrine and manipulation. The religions don't want us saying that, we once had ETs living among us and that our human origins trace back to them. So they've, hidden it. In some cases, knowledge was kept from humanity, purposely hidden, distorted, and sometimes destroyed, either purposely or by accident. Some, such as the destruction of the Library of Alexandria, which is believed to have held a great deal of information, including that of Earth's extraterrestrial history. Some knowledge was lost due to worldwide disasters and other informations, and some was just lost through the long windings of time. Yet still, certain information was merged with cultural traditions and now are regarded as myth. A lot of our mythology is accurate extraterrestrial history. So I'm just going to run down some of the ancient civilizations, and there are quite a lot that had ET contact.